Hi guys, I'm Priyanka Chopra and you're watching VNN.
Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Devan and you're watching The Weekly Show. This week on the show, world leaders snub the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics 2022. India's Harnaaz Sandhu becomes Miss Universe 2021. Omicron variant spreads at a fast rate in Canada. Travel restrictions are now in place. Booster shots for COVID-19 for ages 18 and above will be available starting next week. In real estate, we talk about the do's and don'ts for first-time home buyers in Canada. In business, credit counselor Arvinder Kalsey explains how to maintain a good credit score. Multiple Grammy winner Bruce Springsteen sells his masters in music publishing rights to Sony Music for a whopping $500 million. Let's start with the biggest news this week. Canada joins the likes of UK, US and Australia in snubbing the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics 2022. Citing repeated human rights violation by the Chinese government, Canada's PM Justin Trudeau joins America and UK in launching a diplomatic boycott of the Olympics. Our next report will tell you more. Canada has become the latest country to launch a diplomatic boycott of the upcoming 2022 Winter Olympic Games in Beijing.
We are announcing today that we will not be sending any diplomatic representation to the Beijing Olympic Paralympic Games this winter. Before
Canada, countries like US, UK and Australia declared a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics.
Given the PRC's ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang and other human rights abuses, the athletes on Team USA have our full support. We will be behind them 100% as we cheer them on from home. We will not be contributing to the fanfare of the Games.
In an attempt to show China that its human rights abuses have not gone unnoticed, UK, US, Australia and now Canada have taken this step. But these countries will still be participating in the Olympics.
It's been very clear that concerns around arbitrary detention are real and are shared by many dozens of countries around the world, which is why we saw such tremendous participation and sign on to our declaration against arbitrary detention. We will continue to stand very clearly as a world against the use of coercive diplomacy and tools like arbitrary detention. At the same time, we will be there, absolutely, as countries, as a country, but as a world as well, to support all the athletes gathering in Beijing over this coming winter.
China, who has been receiving flack from international bodies on its human rights violation policies, have now reacted to the boycott. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin says that China had not extended invitation to the US, Canada or the UK, and that it doesn't matter if their officials come or not. They will see the success of the Beijing Winter Olympics. China's human rights abuses came into limelight when Olympian and tennis star Peng Shuai publicly accused a former top Communist Party official, Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli, of sexual misconduct. Peng was immediately muffled by blanket censorship and disappeared from public view for more than 2 weeks. China has been accused of covering up early COVID-19 outbreaks and of pushing World Health Organization officials to praise its pandemic response rather than scrutinize its actions. And now with Canada taking the stand with major countries, China's relationship with the Western world have soured more. Moving on, a powerful typhoon called Rai has battered Philippines and has left at least 12 people dead in massive floods that trapped residents on roof and damaged buildings. Officials are calling this typhoon one of the strongest to hit the country in recent years. Typhoon Rai weakened a bit after hitting the country's southeastern coast, but still packed destructive and deadly winds of 150 km per hour and gusts up to 205 km per hour. Meteorologists say it was moving away into the South China Sea on Friday. This week, Harnaaz Sandhu of India has been crowned the 70th Miss Universe, topping some 80 contestants in a beauty pageant that was held in town of Eilat in Israel. India got the Miss Universe crown back 21 years after Lara Datta won the title in 2000. The 21-year-old Harnaaz Sandhu hails from Punjab, India, and she claimed the crown, edging out Paraguay's Nadia Ferreira and South Africa's Lalela Maswane. Our next report will tell you more.
And the new Miss Universe is India.
Universe 2021.
Let's head to the local stories from Canada now. This week, Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos made an announcement about travel restrictions in Canada and has asked Canadians with plans to travel abroad to cancel their trips as the highly transmissible Omicron variant spreads worldwide.
As I announced Wednesday, the Government of Canada is advising Canadians to avoid all non-essential travel outside the country. Official notice of this travel advisory is posted on travel.gc.ca. I will say it again, now is not the time to travel.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau weighed in the announcement too and asked people to cancel their holiday plans this Christmas.
Now is not the time to travel. And I know after the year we've had, after the almost 2 years we've had, people were really looking forward to getting away, to not having to think about COVID. But the reality is we have to think about COVID. Omicron means we have to be even more careful, and that's why we've raised the travel advisory to advising against all non-essential travel.
Talking further about Omicron variant spreading across Canada, Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced that the province is accelerating its COVID-19 booster shot rollout over fears around the Omicron variant, with everyone 18 or older eligible to book their third vaccine dose starting Monday next week.
We're urgently expanding eligibility. As of Monday, everyone 18 years of and older will be eligible to get their booster shot 3 months after their second dose. That means those over 50, please, I urge you, take advantage of the next few days. You're at the most risk. Use the portal, call the number, call the pharmacies, book that appointment now.
Print, digital, radio, and video. You choose the media. We are the Voice Media Group. India alone contributes to the largest chunk in the international student population in Canada. This week, I sat down with Consul General Apoorva Shrivastava to talk about the issues faced by Indian students in Canada and much more. Take a listen.
Thank you so much, Consul General, for talking to us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this program.
So my first question would be, part of your legacy involves making sure that there is a fair trade and good relations between India and Canada, and international students play a major role in that regard in terms of Canadian economy. So and now next year Canada is bracing itself up for the record intake of Indian students. So what measures are you taking to make sure that this becomes a success?
Yeah, of course, international students do form a great part of our people-to-people relationship. As you know, India and Canada are natural partners. We are strategic partners. We share the same values, and we have a good business relationship. The Canadian investment in India have increased to $60 billion. The bilateral trade is $10 billion. But the most important component of this relationship is the people-to-people relationship, and we have this wonderful group of Indian students who keep coming to Canada, and Indian students form the largest chunk of international students in Canada. So the current numbers are 230,000, which is the largest of international students in Canada. So of course, when they come here, we try and make them comfortable. We request them to register with us. We have certain, we reach out to universities. We are in touch with universities. We are in touch with community organization to make them feel safe and comfortable. So definitely, we on the part of the consulate, we do our best to ensure their safety and security and comfort. Definitely we work on that.
And as you mentioned that Indian students contribute to the largest chunk as in international student data. So do you think it's time for the Indian consulate to have a separate council for international students?
As in a separate office?
Yeah.
Officer or office?
Like a separate, you can say a council, which specifically deals with international students coming from India.
This is basically, we have to deal with the number of every mission has a certain number of people who are given to them, and the consular work is immense here. I think it's one of the largest in the world in terms of consular services that we provide. Toronto is one of the biggest Indian missions. We have to make use of the number of people who are available to us, but definitely having less people doesn't affect our work. We try not to affect our work. We have, it's done by 2-3 people in the mission. I'm personally responsible for it, but there's a community welfare council who also deals with the problems related to students. Then there's our commerce wing is also instrumental in reaching out to universities. So plus we have made a mechanism of community organization. So we have a WhatsApp group which is called Sahyog, and we made it during COVID times, and these have community organization, around 80 community organizations across my jurisdiction, which is from Winnipeg to Atlantics, and any problem faced by any student or any Indian community members is placed on that, and whoever is able to help, we coordinate it. But with the help of community organization, we try and support students and other Indian people in general. So coming to your question, we don't have a separate team dedicated to students, but all of us together work in tandem to provide all necessary support.
Mm-hmm. And talking further about international students, during the pandemic, a lot of them, they lost their jobs, and most of the people were not able to go home because of the travel restrictions. So what measures your council is taking to make sure that the incoming students feel secure?
Yeah, so there are two parts of it. One is the students who were already here during the pandemic. What we did is we immediately made this WhatsApp group, which I mentioned to you earlier, and it was a boon. It was because the information was sharing very quickly. Whenever anybody was getting to know about some situation, people, and then there were students who got COVID, and then with the help of community organizations, we provided them food. Any student who was in a problem contacted any of the community organizations, and we all knew, and we were helping that. So one was that there were students who want to go back to India, so we facilitated their going back to India through the Vande Bharat flight, Air India Vande Bharat flight. And we reached out to universities and colleges. We were in constant touch with the university administrations in my jurisdiction and the student organizations both. So any problem, and I was so happy to see the universities also stood up and they were giving kind of allowances to students. Then the community organizations, Indian community organizations also were giving a lot of help. And we were there coordinating all that and helping out. So that was one aspect. The other aspect of was the mobility issues, because the new students who were coming here, which is the recent fact, and there was, and then the Indian RT-PCR tests were not recognized in Canada, and they had to come from third countries. This was creating a lot of problem. So of course we took it up with Canadians several times, and because many people are coming, and it was a risk for them, for their health, to coming from 2-3 countries. So now eventually there is one testing center that is established in Delhi, where people are getting tested and coming through direct flights. We are also taking up with Canadian government that more testing centers should be established, not only in Delhi but in Mumbai and south of India, so that it eases up the coming of students from India to Canada.
So do you think, in the coming days forward, I think people are coming for the winter intake in Canada, especially the students. So do you think that it will be easier for them to travel now?
It is easier because now they can come directly from India, which was earlier not the case. So definitely it's a lot of students are coming. Now I have again started going out to universities. I have recently visited the University of Gulf, University of Waterloo, Dalhousie University in Halifax. I have visited University of New Brunswick. So I've been meeting students there and giving them information sessions and giving my contact details. So University of Winnipeg I recently visited. So yeah, we are coordinating and we are visiting and reaching out to students.
And I keep reading reports about some students, especially from India, they get exploited here in Canada. Do you get complaints?
I haven't received many formal complaints. I have received a couple of formal complaints about Indian students being exploited, but I have read some things on media, and I have reached out. We are more proactive. Whenever we read something, we reach out to them, and whatever problems we try and solve it either through directly or through, if they need something financially or through community organizations, we definitely take cognizance of that and we try and solve it.
So just for our viewers, if somebody is facing any kind of problem, how can they reach to you or to people who work with you?
They can write directly to me. My email address is on the website, plus they can write to my Council of Community Welfare. It's there. His email is also on the website, and we immediately will reach out to them.
Okay, and many international students suffered from mental health, specifically during the pandemic, because they lost their jobs or they were not able to connect with their loved ones. And international students in general, they don't have a direct access to public health care here in Canada. So are you doing anything in that regard?
I think they have access to public health. I think international students do have access to public health in Ontario. But if there are any specific cases, please feel free to contact us. We'll try and help you as far as possible.
And we see and hear many cases of untimely death of international students, and is the government making sure to make some funds available for such students so that their bodies can be sent back to India? Yes,
I mean, this is very unfortunate. I would like to raise this issue that it's been 2 years I've been posted here, and I have seen some very unfortunate deaths, especially in case of international students. And the reasons which I see mainly in winters, it's accidents. So I would like to, I take this opportunity today with while speaking to you, if it reaches to international students, that please be very careful, because first of all, please practice properly, and then the roads in winters are quite slippery because of the ice, so they have to be very careful. And many students I have seen dying because they didn't put the seat belt on the back seat. So unlike in India, here in the back seat also you have to like put the the belts. So these are the issues which come in summers. I have seen a lot of drowning cases because our students don't. I mean, they don't follow rules. They don't follow rules. They jump anywhere. So please follow all the rules. Also, there's a temperature difference. It's in India the water is quite warm. But here there's an instant temperature difference. Even in summers, the water is quite cold, and then there are dedicated places to bathe or to get into water. So they really have to follow this. I mean, I urge them to please follow all the rules in order to be safe. And the third reason which I see is, of course, the mental health, because many of them are under a lot of pressure. They have to, they have to pay back their loans. So there the community organizations come very handy, and there are many regional community organizations. So we ask them to kind of organize things for the students, and I think many temples and gurudwaras also organize many things. But any specific case, we'll be very happy to help out and connect people.
The Weekly Voice, leader in South Asian news.
And all the immigrants, especially international students who come to Canada, they make a lot of mistakes because they have lack of information. So what, according to you, are the major do's and don'ts that the students can follow if they are prepping to come to Canada in January next year?
Yeah, first of all, it's really cold out here. So, if you compare it with Indian winters, it's too harsh. So that they have to take care of. They really have to take care of themselves. They have to buy really warm clothes, preferably from Canada, because it's made for the Canadian winters. Then many people, many children I have seen wants to earn money while studying. Some little part is okay, but they have to focus on their study. Yeah. That is most important. And keep on talking to your parents and your family back home. Be connected with community organizations, and also try out the Canadian way of life. You have to integrate here. Eventually many of you will stay here for good. So it's better to integrate, to do what Canadians do in winters, just to be integrated and just to have new experiences. And please register on our website. We do provide, as you rightly said, we do provide financial assistance in sending mortal remains back to India, but that is not it's such an unfortunate thing which we have to do. When you speak to a family member of the students who have passed away, it's the worst thing that anybody can handle. As a consulate, it's really it's so unfortunate that we have to do sometimes this kind of thing. So please take care of yourselves. Please be connected. Please study hard. You have come here to study, so that's the most important thing. And everything else can wait. And please feel free to connect with us. Please register with us, because many times what happens is, we get a call at 9 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night that this student has passed away and needs to be sent, but we don't have any contact about them. We don't have the local numbers here. We don't have the family numbers there. So if you register with us, if something, it shouldn't happen, but if something happens to you, if there's an accident, or if we need your contacts immediately, or your person who can be contacted on your behalf. Mm-hmm. So please register with the consulate. That's the most important thing, I must say.
Mm-hmm. And one question that I'm going to ask you is completely unrelated to the international student, but it is related to OCI. So there were certain reports currently about people who turn 60, they again have to register themselves for OCI. Is it true?
No, it's not at all true. Actually, the OCI system has we have liberalized it. You have to go on our on a website. I think it's ociservices.in. You can check it on our website, exact website, and you just have to upload your details whenever your passport changes or whenever you have attained the age of, or your photographs needs to be changed. You don't have to come to us. You can do it on your own.
So it's all online.
It's online. Yeah.
Okay. So, Consulate, my final question would be about pandemic again. Pandemic has delayed the immigration process. There are a lot of students who are currently in Canada, and some have applied from India, and they're waiting for their visas. So, what do you want to tell them? Because right now the process looks very, I can say confusing for everyone, because they don't know whether they should prep to be here in Canada or should they enroll in a college. What should they do? The future doesn't look that bright. So what do you have to say to them?
This is a totally Canadian government issue, and I cannot comment on that because they have to give the visa. I can just say that, yeah, of course, you are coming to Canada, you have to follow their regulations, the Canadian regulations here. So you have to be patient and just wait for it. We can't do much. We have taken up, we keep from time to time, a lot of people contact us. We forward it to the Canadian government saying that, to expedite the visas giving, but eventually it's their decision and how they want to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Consulate, for talking to us and sharing your wonderful insight.
Thank you so much.
Every week in our real estate segment, I bring you the latest on the real estate market in GTA with realtors Parveen Arora and Sam Dillon. And this week, we talked about the first-time home buyers in GTA, Ontario. We discussed everything from the challenges faced by them to the do's and don'ts. Listen in. Hello everyone, you're watching Voice News Network. My name is Pragya, and this week's real estate segment, we have with us Mr. Parveen Arora and Mr. Sam Dillon from Team Aurora. And today we are going to talk about first-time home buyers. Now this is something which is very popular. People who are new into the real estate market, they want to have their own homes. Some people want to get into this industry. So it's better that we talk about them. So before I move ahead, I want to know from you guys, because you've been in this industry for so long, what is the scenario? What kind of new first-time home buyers you guys come across?
First of all, Pragya, thanks for having us over here. And today's topic, as you mentioned, the first-time buyer, I think that's the most important thing in our industry at this point. Because those people already own a property, they are selling their houses, they already have a built up equity in those properties, and they are able to buy the bigger properties. Those people have bigger properties, they want to downsize, they don't have any problem, they are making good equity from their bigger houses, and then they are downsizing. The only challenge in this industry at this time is the first time buyers. They are the one, they have the most difficult time to buy the property at this time, especially in the GTA market. So for the first time buyers, Pragya, there are different type of first time buyers which we come across. Some of them, the first time buyers, they are buying first time, but they already have their spouses with them, they have their family support here. Some of the first time buyers, they just migrate from the other countries, so they bring some financial, some funds from there. So they have some financial help from their back home or from their previous work. And there are some first time buyers, they are just new in this country. Some of them, they came here as a student and then they got their permanent residence, and now they are considering to start their families here. They just have only one thing here in this country, that is just a job. So they don't have some financial help from back home, they don't have any family support here. The only thing what they have just the job here. So we will talk about all three different categories of the first time buyers today.
And do you want to say something on this?
As Parveen said, there's different categories of first-time buyers also, and they all come with different sets of conditions, different qualifications. The greatest challenge today is how to qualify for the first-time properties, because the price point in GTA has reached all-time record high. It's very hard for the first-time buyers to actually enter in the market. And this is not only causing a worry among the first-time buyers, but even different levels of governments are also very concerned about it. And we will see that in near future, maybe we can expect some different rulings on these first-time buyers to make real estate accessible to the first-time buyers.
So let's start with the qualification. So obviously people who are trying to get into this industry for the first time to buy their house, what according to you is the basic criteria that they should follow before thinking about buying a house?
For qualification, Pragya, first-time buyers in any category, there are two things very important. Number one is the down payment, what down payment they have, because down payment is very important if we want to secure a mortgage on a property. And you know, in this country without mortgage, especially the first-time buyer, they don't have substantial down payment. So they can put it for that property, so they need the mortgage. So one is the down payment, how much down payment they have, and secondly, according to their income and according to their credit history, how much they qualify for the mortgage. So these are the two very important factors. And there is another criteria, what type of property they are looking for, that is the third criteria, but that is after these two things. First they have to see how much down payment they can put, and secondly how much they qualify for the mortgage. So these are the most two qualifying criteria for the first time buyers.
And if we look at the categories, as you were mentioning, like different kinds of first buyers you come across, if you can elaborate on those categories.
So let's talk about first, the first time buyers. Those people are born here, right? They born here and they are living in there with their family. So now they just want to move out. They want to buy their own properties, right? And most of them, they have some sort of financial help from their parents. So regarding the down payment, they get some help from the parents. So if they get the help from parents, that's a big thing. And regarding the income qualifying, because they have jobs here, because they are born here, grown up here. So most of them, they have the good jobs. Sorry. So they can qualify for that one. And the second category, the immigrants, those comes from the other countries. And those immigrants, they come from the other countries, they have some sort of financial help from their back home. Either they have savings from there, some of them they are selling their properties there and they are transferring their funds here. So they are also able to manage the down payment. And over here when they come, most of them they are professionals, so they are getting good jobs here and their spouses are working too, so they are qualifying for them. The third category is especially the people, those people come here as a student, now they are PR, but they don't have substantial down payment. The only thing what they have, the work where they are working, just the income. So down payment is a big challenge for, especially for those people.
Community, automotive, Bollywood and real estate. Stay up to date with what's happening here and back home. Plug into opportunities and trends that can change your life. The Weekly Voice, Canadian leader in South Asian news. Get your paper edition or read online at weeklyvoice.com.
So that becomes really difficult.
That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
At this time.
And if I talk particularly about students, as you were mentioning, do you think it's the right time for them to invest into buying a house?
The way things looks to us, Pragya, anybody in GTA, I cannot comment on other areas because we are working in the GTA market, so we have a very good understanding about this market, what is happening in this market. Me and Sam are in the business from a long time. So we saw the different cycles of the real estate industry. I would say whoever is interested to stay here in GTA and whoever is interested to buy a property in GTA, right? I think the sooner they buy, that is the best option. The students, I know that sometimes they don't have substantial down payment, so they are not qualifying for the bigger mortgages. They think, oh, we should be buying a townhouse or a semi-detached. What I will recommend, or my personal advice is this: if you are not able to buy a townhouse or a semi-detached, any low-rise property, buy something whatever you can afford. Even if you are able to afford a condo, buy a condo. If you are able to afford a stacked townhouse, buy a stacked townhouse. Day before yesterday, I was talking to one first-time buyer and he was discussing me the same problem. And I was suggesting him, do one thing. If you are able to secure a property and you have a little bit problem for the cash flow, rent half of the property, but buy something for sure, because the way prices are going up, maybe after 2 years or 3 years, it will be even more difficult for you to buy the property.
Yeah, that's true.
And one other way to look at it is, when students, especially if we talk about students, when they are renting a property, there's a number of students that are living together. So maybe they can be a little bit more creative and pool their savings so that together maybe 3 or 4 of them pool their savings and they are able to buy one single property. They will not only be saving on their rent, they will be building equity in the property, because the problem is to get into the market.
Yes,
So it doesn't matter if you buy a small condo, even 1-bedroom condo, it comes with a living room also, so 2 or 3 people can easily be accommodated in 1-bedroom condo also. The price point is low. At least they will enter into the market. Way the prices are going up, in a year, 2 years, they will build enough equity to leverage that equity to buy a bigger property.
Yes.
And then they can decide whether they want to still stay together or they want to go their own separate way. Maybe one of them gets out and buys again a smaller property, or he keeps that smaller property and the other 2 move into a bigger property. So students, especially first-time buyers, will have to come up with some sort of creative thinking. We as realtors can definitely help with that. We have years of experience behind us. We've done this over and over again. We can actually show them how it can be done and how it can be done with ease. So call us, we will spend some time with you, and we can definitely, if not, we will empower you with knowledge to make the right decision.
And I think this interview is going to motivate a lot of people, especially the first-time buyers, to get into this market. And if you have any questions, you can see Team Aurora's contact information on your screen while we continue this interview. So my next question is about the incentives that the first-time buyers have in Canada. If you can talk about that.
There is only one incentive from the government on the land transfer tax. They give some rebate on that one, Pragya. So it's not a big incentive, to be honest with you, just maybe I think $2,000 per individual. So let's say if 2 people are buying, it's about $4,000. It's not a huge incentive, but at least there is something. But the main part is just to enter in the market rather than worrying about too much about the incentive, because the prices are going up very fast. There is projects in downtown Toronto for condos. I still remember, when we started the business about 17 years ago, condo price in downtown was around, I think maybe $300 per square feet. And in today's market, it's about $2,000 per square feet. And the predictions are Toronto downtown will touch $4,000 to $5,000 per square feet down the road. So if these things are coming up, and if you are in this country and you want to live in GTA, I would highly recommend, think about it, buy something for sure, rather than just keeping your money in bank or somewhere else. Make some investment in real estate, because the way market is going up, it will become more and more difficult for you to buy something here. What is happening in Delhi and Bombay, how people are making arrangement. We were talking about one movie about Netflix, right? How people are making arrangement to buy the property there.
Exactly.
I can see the same thing is happening here.
In the near future.
That's right.
Definitely.
So, as you mentioned that prices are going up, I was reading some reports where the federal government is also making sure to come up with more options for housing in Canada, because it is a big issue here.
Right.
Housing is a big issue. And I heard Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also talking about it, and he said that they have a lot of options in future which they'll come up for first-time home buyers, because they really want people to have a property here.
That's
so
right.
do you think that people like us, people who are planning to buy house in future, we have a scope here?
I think, Pragya, definitely government will come up with some solutions for these things, but it won't be like that. We would say, if they come up with some solution, there will be more inventory available in the market. They can hold some part of a project that will be allocated to the first time buyer. There are some possibilities which can come down the road, but I don't think so it will bring the market price down. So I think if it is possible for someone to buy property today, don't wait for the government policies will come. It may come after 1 year or 2 years. Don't wait until. Yes, if you don't have any option to buy, then definitely you will be waiting for that, right? But if you have an option to buy, don't wait for that one. I think better to buy.
So on a final note, any last minute suggestions that you would want to give to people who are still kind of confused whether we should get into this market or not?
I would say, Pragya, if anyone has some sort of savings and the down payment, if they have available, don't think about, that we have a small down payment, we cannot do something, right? If you have anybody else who can help you, any other realtor definitely you can talk to them. But if you want our opinion or our advice on your situation, give us a call anytime, right? We have a full team of professionals. We can give you the right information, then you can make the decision, what you can buy in this market and where you can buy. There are a lot of options even outside GTA too. And what we can see, Pragya, even buying over there and investing over there is also a good idea. And I'm suggesting some people also, especially those people are staying in GTA. Let us say now, if you are in GTA, you have a job here, right? And you cannot move out from there, and you are not able to afford anything here. That is also possible. Rather than waiting for that, buy something even at the outer. Let us say if you are buying something in Niagara Falls, if you are buying something in Welland, Cambridge, over there you buy something and rent it out. So at least you are in the market. There will be some growth on that property, and down the road after 4 years, 5 years, when you will sell that property, you will make some money, then you can buy something here too. Let's say if you bought something on the outer location for 1,000 square feet. After 5 years, when you will sell it, maybe you will be able to buy in GTA 500-600 square feet. But at this point, you are not able to buy anything in the GTA. So still there will be a better option to buy even outside location.
Yeah. Often we are asked this question, when is the right time to buy? I would say that there's no such thing as right or wrong time. Whenever you are ready to buy, whenever you make a decision that I want to buy a property, solutions can be created to any problem. When you put your mind to find solutions for any problem, they can be found. So the thing is, you have to be ready. As I was saying earlier, that a person who wins a race or anything, they win twice. First, they win mentally, and then they win it physically. So you have to be prepared mentally first, and then you will see that the same thing is manifested in your mind. It will bring results in reality also.
I think very well put together. You've beautifully summarized our entire discussion today. So the bottom line is that you have to get into the market if you have plans to buy a house, right?
Plan to buy, or if you decide to stay in this country, right? So you need a place to live, right? Rather than renting and paying for someone else's mortgage, better to pay your own mortgage.
Perfectly summarized. So for all the viewers, if you have any questions, you know what to do, you know the drill. You can see the number at the bottom of your screen. You can contact Team Aurora and you can shoot all your questions to them, and I'm sure they will answer all the questions.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Pradeep.
Thank you for having us.
Print, digital, radio, and video. You choose the media. We are the Voice Media Group. As pandemic continues to wreak havoc on lives and livelihoods, there are many people who are struggling to meet their expenses in Canada. This week, I spoke exclusively to Mr. Arvinder Kalsey from Business Solutions and Credit Counseling Services, where he shared important information about the credit system in Canada and how you can grow your credit score efficiently. Take a listen. Hello everyone, my name is Pragya and you're watching Voice News Network, and today I'm joined by Mr. Arvinder Kalsey from Business Solutions and Credit Counseling. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Pragya, thanks for inviting me. और आप सब देखने वालों को from me, namaste, sat sri akal, adabs, and a very good morning.
So, sir, let's start with the ongoing situation about COVID-19 in Canada and GTA.
Right.
Cases बढ़ रहे हैं.
जी.
तो उससे हर चीज़ पे impact पड़ेगा, businesses पे भी impact पड़ेगा.
Sure.
आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में?
First of all, the most important part is we all need to be responsible. Because whatever is happening right now, आज का जो number है, that's 1800 plus. At one time, if you remember, we were sitting around 100, 150, 200. At that point, it looked like that we knocked down the COVID-19. And all of a sudden, हमने अपने guards को drop कर दिया. And what are the guards? Guards is socializing, sanitization, and taking precautions so we don't go into the open and don't mingle the way we used to do it. So we all forgot that. And that is the only reason why we are suffering today. And with this new Omicron, that is something deadly. Deadly means it's faster, it travels fast, infections are fast. So I would say to all our viewers, please take the responsibility on yourself. You can help, I can help, but we all have to take a responsible attitude towards this, that how to deal with this. And it's a very simple. What is it? Just take care of this, that do follow all the guidelines. If you do that, probably we can stop it here.
For sure. And you were talking about taking responsibility. There is one more responsibility that people, especially immigrants, have to take here in Canada. वो है अपनी loans pay करने की responsibility. उससे तो हम नहीं हट सकते, right? तो उसके बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो pandemic is very much here. People have lost their jobs. Some people, like the economy is starting to recover, but still, you know, we are really behind in terms of managing our expenses. So what do you have to say on that?
Well, honestly, when pandemic came in, I'm so grateful to the government, especially Canada is the top worst country who did everything for everyone. So we were given a lot of things by the government that was help. And with that help, what happened is that we were asked to sit home and we will give you the money. It is a beautiful thing, no problem with that. But when we take this just as a help, it's a good thing. But when we take it for granted, it's a bad thing. So a lot of people lost this touch as to how I should be living, what is important, what is not important. But now, since everything has opened, economy is trying to open, things are getting a little better. But there are still people who think we might be getting more money from the government. And that holds them back, going back to work. And I believe that has piled up quite a bit now. And when we look at the numbers, what the money has come in, how much money we got it, that is scary at this point. This help we don't have to return back. So we took it for granted as if it was a gift to us. Along with this, a lot of people did is that they took charge of their credit cards, line of credit, other things, just to compensate whatever the lifestyle was. And especially for the business people, because there was no income, there was no cash flow. Government did help us for the business people, but that was limited to a certain level. There was a portion of that which was given to us. Now to fulfill that deficit, which was short, we were depending on our credit cards and line of credits and other loans. So which has accordingly piled up. And having said that, piled up means that we have to service that debt. Now to service that debt, you need cash flow. Cash flow means you need sales. So end of the day, it's a huge chain. If you translate this into a whole thing, for example, I've got a restaurant. Say for the most badly hit is the restaurant people, food industry. So I've got a restaurant, beautifully, I did everything. People used to love my food and stuff like that. All of a sudden, pandemic came in. Everything was shut down. My bills were there. My rent was there. My loan payment was there. And a lot of other expenses, which is known as fixed expenses in business. Now, fixed expenses I had to take care of myself. The government gave me some subsidies towards my rental and some wage subsidy and other things. Say, for example, end of the day, everything is good now, we open up. Now to get the cash flow, I need customers coming into my business. And I don't have customers now. So my whole planning was based on 200 people a day. And now I'm getting 50 people a day. So technically, my basic expenses, which we call it in our financial language, break even. I'm not breaking even. Say my daily expenses are $5,000, and then I have to make a profit and my food and other stuff. My sales is $3,000. How am I going to manage it? So those kind of challenges are really, really very important at this point, which I believe all the businesses are dealing with that. And end of the day, if you can make a payment, believe me, financial people have got no heart. Banks have got no heart to help you. And they're going to say, if you can't make a payment, I'm going to hit your credit. You are liable to pay me. So we have to be very realistic. You might be emotional yourself is saying, hey, I don't have this, I don't have that. Help me, please. But I'm a financial person. I don't have any sympathy for you. I say, you took my money, give my money. You know what I mean? So that is very important. We all need to understand that. So we watch carefully, what is my liabilities, how I have to handle that. And other than that, how I'm going to manage the whole thing. So these all factors play in when we are calculating things and so on. I'll give you a fair example on this. You know, when COVID came in, the government pushed a lot of money in there. Then the banks came in. The bank said, hey, you don't have to worry for your mortgage for 6 months. Now, did bank did this on their own? No. It was a government who gave the guarantees to the bank that give them 6 months break. But this break was not given as that, okay, don't pay us. It was a deferred payment. Deferred means that you don't pay now, but you'll have to pay later on. Okay? Yeah. So after 6 months, COVID has been here 3 years now, 2.5 years. Everybody pulled their hand back. Did banks again came in and ask you, hey, don't give us a mortgage, I'll take care of another 1 year? No. And the biggest winner in this whole episode is the banks. They made billions and billions of dollars on whose cost? You and me. Okay? And the government supported them. What I'm trying to say is the financial market is not an emotional market. Sometimes we think, hey, if I'm suffering, they'll help me. Nobody will help you. So the bottom line here is you have to take the responsibility and make sure you know the numbers and you take help from seasoned people who understand this business. There's no harm in asking. First of all, if I'm a financial person, it doesn't mean I know everything. I might be knowing something financially, I might not be knowing legally. So end of the day, what I'm trying to say is every qualified person, every businessman is a smart person, no doubt. But when it comes to certain help, we should go to the professionals in that particular trade and take their help. That makes our life easy.
Weekly Voice, leader in South Asian news.
So how can you improve your credit score?
First of all, beautiful question you asked me. First of all, we need to understand what is credit score. I'm from India, okay? We never had a credit score. And I've been in this country for a very long time. That time we didn't have credit cards even. Today we have it there, no doubt. So now what happens is, if we compare Indian culture and this culture, in this country, the day you come in, you're given a number, which is known as SIN number, social insurance number. Now, social insurance number is tagged with your name. What is that all about? It's all about to identify you. Then you get a credit card from a first starter credit card for $500 that is linked with your social insurance number. Then you get a car loan that is linked with your social insurance number. So all these things are tagged into your social insurance, means your identity, right? So now when we start making payments, everything is being reported to a credit bureau. Now credit bureau, there are two credit bureaus. One is Equifax, the other one is TransUnion. These two credit bureaus are absolutely independent. They are not tied up with the government. They are not tied up with the banks. Their job is to monitor you, that how you move around, okay? Now, if I default on anything, they report on my credit bureau. So now the question comes, how does that affect me? In India, if somebody is sent to police station, उसको हम 10 नंबरिया बोलते हैं. इमीडिएट कहते हैं ना कि भैया ये तो 10 नंबरिया है. In other words, उसके ऊपर एक टैग लग गया कि ये ठीक नहीं है. तो हमारे वहाँ कंट्री में ऐसा चलता है. मगर वो जो 10 नंबरिया है वो हमेशा आपके साथ रहता है टैग, क्योंकि आप जेल में थे या पुलिस स्टेशन में पकड़े गए. सो इस कंट्री में जो आपका क्रेडिट ब्यूरो है ये बिल्कुल वैसा ही है. इसमें क्या है कि आपका फाइनेंशियल लेन देन, फाइनेंशियल डीलिंग्स किस तरह की है. दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट टू मॉनिटर यू. I never met you being a banker and you came to the country, I gave you a credit card. Then I saw your payments are coming in and out very regularly, very timely. I said, okay, increase the limit from 500 to 1,000. You started again taking money out of that. You started paying me back again. So it is a financial system where as a financier, I'm sitting here to make money. How do I make money? To get interest from you, right? As far as you're paying me, hey, I'm a happy person. I really love you. I say, hey, this is a good customer, good client, because he's giving everything to me. Now the day when in this country, when you get a bill, you might have noticed if you have 10,000 limit and you have exhausted everything, there's a small column saying minimum payment. And against 10,000, the minimum payment is $15 only, okay? So you say, okay, I have to pay 15, that's fine, I'll do it. So you go and make $15 payment and you think, hey, I did everything. No, it was a trap. So you got into that trap now. So what happens is you get into this minimum payment. Now the interest is being charged from day one. Let me explain all our viewers also today. If you got a credit card debt and you get a bill, say I've got a 10,000 limit, I use for 4,000. You get an invoice for 4,000, that's fine. Minimum payment is $10. If I go to the bank and pay off that 4,000 within 30 days, I don't pay no interest on anything. But as soon as I pay $10 on that, which is my minimum payment, I pay interest from day one, the day I took that. So in other words, this is a huge trap. So first of all, India में हमें कहते थे, बेटा अपनी चादर दे के पैर पसारो. In other words, what it meant, let me translate for you. Live within your means. We all have heard from our parents or elderly people. But now that chadar, we have extended a lot. We forget about this, कि हमारे liabilities क्या हैं, how we need to handle, and we just get blindfolded and start spending money like anything. कि जैसे ये सब पैसा free का है, जो मर्जी कर लो. So now what happens is, as far as you're making minimum payments, I'm happy being a bank. Then the moment you say default, you can't pay that $15, then I'm going to go on your credit bureau. Now let's see what credit bureau is. It's got numbers from 1 to 9. 1 means you're good, you're in time, you're a very responsible person. The day you miss one payment, I'm going to put down the rating as R2. R1 means good, R2 means 1 month late. Oh. Okay. The day I miss 2 payments, I'm going to put down R3. So now, what does it mean? How does it work? How does it help me? Say today, your Royal Bank, I got R1, R2 from you. I go to Bank of Nova Scotia. They're going to pull my credit bureau. And they say, hey, Kalsey is having a card with Royal Bank. He did not pay that minimum payment. And now he's asking money from us. So what I'll do is, I'll turn you down. I said, no, your application is not approved. At that point, a lot of people think, hey, maybe they're racist. I'm Indian, I'm wearing a turban, or I'm Muslim, or so on. There is no racism. It's all about your credibility, who you are, how responsible you are. So this is how credit bureau affects you. So first of all, is it important to have credit bureau? Absolutely. It's very important if you want to live happily in this country. In other words, if you think that I want to buy, I want to prosper, I want to buy a house tomorrow, all these things play out into your credit bureau. So always my advice to everyone is, please don't overextend yourself. Only take that much money which you can afford to take. And then after that, make sure you make your minimum payments. Try to clear off every month if you can, but if not, please don't avoid your minimum payments.
Community, automotive, Bollywood and real estate. Stay up to date with what's happening here and back home. Plug into opportunities and trends that can change your life. The Weekly Voice, Canadian leader in South Asian news. Get your paper edition or read online at weeklyvoice.com.
So the bottom line again, when we just sum up this thing, live with your means. Simple as this. अगर मेरे पास $1,000 की income है, I should make a plan, I should make a budget that I have to live within $1,000, but I will still save $100. For example, आप पढ़े लिखे हैं, मैं तो अनपढ़ हूँ, मैं कोई स्कूल नहीं गया, कॉलेज नहीं गया, कुछ नहीं किया, मगर मेरे को एक बात मालूम है कि अगर मेरी $100 की कीमत है या 100 की मेरी डॉलर की इनकम है, मैं 101 नहीं खर्च सकता. The day I spend 101, I'm borrowing 1. But the day I spend 99, I'm saving 1. So why I've said like this is that we are all qualified people, we are smart people. But the bottom line is you have to crunch the numbers so you don't overstep. And if you follow this advice, I hope we'll be able to help you. And on that note, I will just give you my phone number, which is free of cost. You don't spend any money. If you need any help or you want to talk to me, our toll-free number throughout Canada is 1-866-790-8984. We have got offices all over Canada. We are in Ontario, we are in BC, we are in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. The only bottom line is we are just a phone call away. And never feel shy to ask somebody if you don't know it. It will not make you smaller, but it will make you richer in information and knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. So all our viewers, if you are looking for any advice related to debt consolidation or credit card score, then you can find Mr. Kalsey's information at the bottom of your screen. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
In entertainment this week, multiple Grammy winner Bruce Springsteen has sold his masters in music publishing rights to Sony Music in a deal worth about $500 million, reports entertainment publication Billboard. The sale will give Sony ownership of the rock legend's entire catalogue, including the 15 times platinum album Born in the USA and 5 times platinum The River. Springsteen is the latest in the string of catalogue deals over the past year or so. That includes the music of David Bowie, Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, Stevie Nicks, Neil Young and Carole Bayer-Sager. And that's a wrap on this week's show. We would love to hear your thoughts on the show, so type in the comment section and tell us what you think. You can follow us on our social media handles. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe us so that you can get all the updates. Till then, take care, be safe, and thanks for watching.